And hey, Terrence, you got that shirt in a size medium? Well, I can't give him too much of a hard time. Actually, when I first met Terrence, he like broke his shoulder, and I gave him a hard time. I was like, man, how you gonna break your shoulder? Because he couldn't shake my hand. I was like, come on, man, up, shake my hand, bro. But anyways, I guess karma came around because I ended up breaking my arm about a month later, completely in half, arm wrestling. Yeah, it got me, man. My bad, bro. So, kind of going off here because he said he wants to act white or something like that. I tell you what, man. I was adopted when I was born into like a German, Irish, Czech family. Well, we call them white, I guess. So, I mean, my full name is Matthew Kyle Hoffman. Yeah, I said Kyle is my middle name. And it's not off of my cousins or some uncle or some grandparent that died. No, it's Texas A&M football field, Kyle Field was how I got the name. See, my dad was a Corps cadet at the A&M, and he was big on their traditions, and man, they have a lot of great traditions, but that's how I got my name. And so I grew up in my family, I guess your typical Caucasian family. I didn't know any Spanish. I was brown like this. My family's walking around the world with this little brown beaner baby. So, and I came to a conclusion. I was like, Mom, Dad, how did you get me? Like, what happened? How did you get me when I was born? So I assumed, I was like, you know what? Mom was pretty dominant. She's like, you know what? It's Friday night. I want to go do something. Let's go get Mexican to go. And here we are. So, anyways, and all the trials and tribulations, I guess, of, you know, meeting people and meeting my friends and strangers or whatever. We flew a lot as a kid. When I was a kid, and we flew all the time. And I didn't know this, but I literally found out, or my mom literally had to carry my birth certificate, like just to prove in the airports that they're not some crazy white people stealing Mexican babies. So, anyways, so I was like, so Mom, like you literally had to have my birth certificate like attached to my head like some UPS package? What can Brown do for you? Make you a mom. So anyhow, well and he was talking about failing classes. I mean, I had pretty much A, B's, maybe a C here and there, but the only class I ever failed a report card or 6 weeks or whatever they call it back then, can y'all guess what it was? Okay, it was Spanish. I failed Spanish 1 in high school. It was practically, hola, donde está el baño? We talked about the weather in some other countries. But anyhow, you know, today or this month of December is that time of the year, it's Christmas, and you know, I hear a lot of kids, most of the kids out there like, hey, I want some toys, or you know, I want the iPad or the new technology or whatever. I'm like, bro, I just want my bills paid. You know, I want my gross pay on my paycheck, you know what I mean? Or like, you know, I even want, you know, some groceries, some peace and quiet. You know, I got 2 kids, I got 2 girls, so you know, with their attitudes, you know. And so like I said, I actually have, so I'm a dad, actually we're divorced, so the kids are like, yay, 2 Christmases. I'm like, no, I mean, well, technically, I guess, because my parents are divorced multiple times, so there's like 4 grandparents, so they have like 4 Christmases already given to them before they even have my Christmas. So, I know, right? And then my kids are like, or a buddy of mine was like, hey man, are your kids spoiled? I was like, no man, they just smell like that. I know. I'll let that sink in for a little bit. So like I had my kids this past weekend, and I've always been telling myself, hey, I really need to invest in like getting some football pads or something. Because with my girls, they show love, and it physically hurts. Like physically, I get bruised and bleeding from them. Because like my oldest would come in, and she's like, hey dad, and I'm like, hey, what's up? Like I thought she's gonna give me a hug, but she's like, nope. And she hits me with the headbutt. I'm like, God. And then she hits me with the shoulder roll. I'm like, what the hell is wrong with you? She's like, love you. And then my little one, she's 4. She's like this high. If y'all see that, it's like right around the midsection here. So, and she like goes around like all hell broke loose. Like literally going around, running around, and spanking us. So if I'm facing the wrong way and she's going around and wham, I'm down for a minute. Yeah, man down. And the girls love that, I guess, so they laugh at my abuse. So, and my daughter was actually going through this stage maybe like a year ago. We were driving somewhere, and all of a sudden she started like seizuring, like just, you know, jumping around and doing whatever. And I was like, oh my God, I was like, hey, what's wrong with you? No response. So I was like, oh God, I started worrying. I was like, hey. And I shoved her, like I put her shoulder. I was like, hey, what is wrong with you? And she took out her AirPod, I forgot that she had in. And I was like, oh God. I was like, hey, what's wrong? What happened? You okay? She's like, I'm doing my TikTok dances, Dad. I was like, oh Lord. Oh, I was like, carry on. Just twitching and I was like, kids these days. And I find myself saying kids these days a lot more now. And I guess I'm getting older. Like, another sign I'm getting older is I was driving, looking for a building, and this place too. And I literally found myself turning down the radio to see better. I mean, I've heard it happen to people before. I've heard it happen, and I'm like, that's funny, you suck. And then I did it, I'm like, I suck. So, and it was so funny too, because my daughter was like, what are you doing? It's my favorite part. I'm like, I'm tired of looking for this building for you. You need to hush it. That was a pretty good part though, you know. Okay. So we parked, we listened to the rest of the song, and it was pretty, she laughed, I laughed. I cried because I was getting older. So another thing I did about getting older was I found myself, this was about a month ago, twice in one day, I tried to open my apartment door with my car key. I was like, what are you doing? You don't even use it. You press the unlock button, and I was at my apartment, like, come on, let's go, come on. Nope, it ain't gonna open. Maybe that's in my head, I guess. And another thing I did too, like last week, I sneezed, and like every bone in my body popped. I'm like, crap, did I step on a bubble wrap? Pop, 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 pop. But, and then another thing, this happened a couple months ago. This is the biggest sign I felt like I was getting older. But before I get there, does anybody have birthdays in December? Or had a birthday in December, or going to have one? Anybody have one last month? Pleasure me? Okay, cool. Well, if you had one this month, that didn't work out, so I guess we'll go with this. The people that have one in December, if it's late December and you had a birthday, it kind of sucks for you, because I'm like that asshole that would give you a gift and say, hey, Merry Christmas, happy birthday. Yeah, that's a jerk. But anyways, going back to my biggest thing that happened recently feeling older was I had a birthday. And it was in October, and I woke up like normal. I hate this place, blah, blah, blah. Had my day, and I was getting in the kitchen, and I go, wait, how old am I? Wait a minute, I'm 37? No, I'm 38. How long was I 36? This is a heck of a year, and this is a true story. So I'm talking to myself, which people say that's kind of bad. I'm like, no, it's bad if you answer yourself. Well, I answer myself too. I was like, hey, what are we? I don't know. And then I remember literally talking out loud saying, okay, who's right? And in my head, I'm like, I don't know. And then we kept going back and forth arguing, like, no, you're 37, no, you're 38. So I started calculating. I was like, okay, 84 minus 21, does that work? No. Square root of 9 times the 4. Yeah, I'm 37. And then I go back to arguing to myself again, and I was like, wait, what are we even talking about? Like, I forgot the argument I had with myself. And I was like, that's bad. So I called my mom. I was like, hey, Mom. She's like, oh, happy birthday. I was like, yeah, enough of that. So, I'm 37, right? She's like, as far as I know. I was like, wait a minute, like, can I be another age? Like, is this a whole nother, like, time zone going on, or a warp zone or something? She's like, oh no, you're 37, and God bless you, and God help us. I was like, thanks. She's been telling me that since I was a kid, though. So, gotta love her. So, and like I said, I was divorced. I'm probably divorced because I didn't take advice. And I definitely cannot give advice either, because if I give you advice, we'll probably be drunk here at a bar, drinking Dos Equis, and telling you how much life sucks. But, so I had a buddy though, he did ask me, he was like, hey man, I want to be an actor. I was like, okay. He's like, well, don't you know some acting? I was like, maybe to get out of trouble. I was like, I did a couple plays in high school and college, but that was about it. He's like, well, I want to be in Hollywood. I was like, tell you what, I think you have the perfect face for radio. And he's like a DJ, like on the radio? I'm like, yeah. He's like, well, they can't see my face. Exactly, bro. He's like, that's messed up, man. I was like, well, you gotta do what you gotta do, man. If you don't look the part, don't do it. Excuse me. So anyway, and when I was married, I was a yes man. Like, yes dear, yes honey, yes I'll do it, okay, sure. Honey do this, sure, yes. Now I'm divorced, I'm free. I do what I want, I wear what I want. When I want, how I want, Well, if I was better looking, I would be like a shirt off moment, you know? So, I had a banquet recently too, so I ended up finding myself calling my ex. It's like, hey, I have a banquet. What do you think I should wear? I was like, oh God, I'm calling her to ask what I should wear? She's like, hey, so you might want to wear that blue collar shirt, that button down that goes in your suit. It's probably hanging in your back closet with your black suit. I was like, what? So I go look at my back of my closet and it's in there. I'm like, oh my gosh, she's right. I was like, well, I'm still by myself. I wear what I want. I threw it down on the bed and said, I'm not wearing that. So I wore it. You know, I ended up calling her too. I was like, hey, I ended up wearing that shirt. Good job. So where are we at? Okay, sorry. So like I said, with the, it's that time of the year with the Christmases, and last year, this is a story, it's a true story. I had my girls, I usually get them on Christmas Day after they do their family stuff with their moms, and I had the kids come over, they opened their presents, and I told my oldest, I was like, hey man, I got a great gift for Kinsey. She's gonna love it, we're gonna open it last. So we get through all the presents. They're all happy, and Kinsey just going through the wrapping like she's a little dog. That's what she loves. I even wrapped a water bottle. And she was like, oh, it's my water, yeah. I was like, heck yeah, I was like, she's gonna love this. So she gets to the last gift I bring out, and my oldest was kind of getting suspicious. She was like, hey, is that another scooter? I'll have to find out. So my little one's going through and ripping the packages open, and she goes, oh my God, it's my scooter! Yeah, I was like, yeah, baby. And my daughter goes, bruh, that's her scooter from last year. And I was like, hey, man, she loved it. And she was like, oh yeah, I'm so happy, thank you, Daddy. I'm like, see, that's what I'm looking for. So she's like, you cannot rewrap anything this year. And I was like, we'll find out. But no, that was a true story. She thought, and she still talks about it every day, and as we get closer to Christmas, she's like, really, Dad, please don't. Just really, please don't. And so going back to when I was growing up in school, I went to college, and this is after going through the whole process of everyone thinking, I'm Mexican, I should know Spanish, and the only Spanish words I've ever learned were the cuss words, the bad words. You know, orale, vete la chingada, puto. Yeah, that's all I know. So, I mean, I don't want to say the rest, but. So I went to college, and I told my professor, I was like, hey, I really want to get to know Spanish. I barely know nothing. My parents are white, like they're really white. I just don't know. That's just who I am. He's like, oh, okay. I can't even do an accent right. But he's like, oh, okay, well, hey, you're a Mexican. We're gonna put you into Spanish for heritage speakers. And I was like, what? He's like, no, you heard my story. No, I am not doing it. And I got started, I was like, hell no, I am not. So I went to class for Spanish for heritage speakers, and they started speaking Spanish. And I was like, okay, great. You know, I'm just gonna wing it. So he comes in, speaks Spanish, he talks about Libro or a book. So I open my book. They turn the page, I turn my page. They start saying something, I just nod my head. I'm like, I got this. Then he starts saying more in Spanish. And then I was like, okay, whatever. And then more in Spanish, and they're getting faster and faster. And they start standing up, sitting down, standing up, sitting down. I'm like, what the heck is going on? I thought we were in church for a second. You know, them Catholics. Hey, I'm Catholic, it's okay. So as the class went on, I was like, you know what, nope, I'm not doing this. I'm a Mexican, not happening. So I remember the only thing that I can remember, or said the only thing I can remember from high school, and I said, hola, gracias, donde está el baño, which means, thank you, where's the bathroom? And I walked out. So thank you very much, I'm Matt Hoffman.